Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Put down that silly putter and turn on to this week's baseball. The Chicago Cubs try to turn the corner. The Chicago White Sox turn on their fans. The New York Yankees again turn to Billy Martin. The Montreal Expos turn up the power. And the Milwaukee Brewers turn out the complete games. All this and more turning up next on This Week in Baseball. Brought to you by Gillette. When it comes to personal grooming, most people come to Gillette, makers of new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
Sold out again.
The new improved Gillette Track 2, please.
Yeah, say, who needs improved when these twin blades will do?
Track 2 has micro-smooth edges. Makes the blade smoother than ever.
Shave better than these?
Better, safer, smoother, and comfortable.
Comfort, schmumfort, you don't have... But
Do you have the new improved Gillette Track 2?
improved Track 2? Improved Track 2?
The new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
You pilot ships out to open sea through currents that can run you aground. And the only map you trust is the one you keep in your head. Now comes Miller time. Time to head back for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, we've got the beer, Miller Beer.
Olympic Stadium, home of the 1976 Olympics, and now the home of the 79 Montreal Expos, settling in first place in the National League East. Youngsters like Andre Dawson are now approaching maturity, knowing when to go for base hits and when to go for home runs, of which Dawson had 12.
Yes, well, I know that I have some power. I think what I do best is capitalize on the pitcher's mistakes. I don't go up and swing for the home runs. Like I said, I know I have power when they're going to come. I try to concentrate more on my average. And guy make a mistake, then he has to pay for it.
Tony Perez has been making pitchers pay for their mistakes for well over a decade. This year, 7 homers, 37 RBIs. Third baseman Larry Parrish is also starting to collect a .293 batting average and occasional power. Ellis Valentine has been good for 7 homers, 39 RBIs. He and the entire Montreal lineup ripped into Joe Niekro and Houston's league-leading pitching staff for 19 runs in 1 game as they pushed their first-place lead up to 3 games, all in the comforts of home, where the Expos were near perfect, winning 22 of their first 26 ball games, and they did it with flair. A Of course, you can't get too relaxed even in your own home. Stop talking and watch that runner. That's it. Better let the other guys do the talking. And chances are, everyone's going to keep on talking about these expos this year as Montreal makes a serious bid to become only the second expansion team ever to bring home a pennant. Meanwhile, the one expansion team that did win a pennant, the New York Mets, may have been known primarily for its pitching in the past, but today it's a different story. Joe Torre's team is now building around offense. Richie Hebner has come aboard, adding a 300-plus batting average and 37 runs batted in. Speed from the likes of leadoff man Frank Tavares also juices up an attack never known for scoring an abundance of runs. This is the first season the Mets have ever boasted top base runners. Already they've stolen over 60. But when the Mets point to a better-looking future, they're talking about their center fielder, 24-year-old switch hitter Lee Mazzilli, a young man maturing rapidly towards stardom and a favorite son of neighboring Brooklyn. His .338 batting average has been most impressive, as have 17 stolen bases and 34 runs batted in. Moreover, Mazzilli's hustling spirit makes him the main man in the Mets' plan.
I think there's certain guys on his ball club, 3 or 4 guys which they can build around, not just one specific guy. And I don't think it's fair to say build around Lee Mazzilli. I think there's a lot of young guys here that we can build around.
Slick fielding Doug Flynn hasn't hit for an average, but has hit in the clutch with 24 RBIs. This homer broke up a Mickey Mailer no-hitter and helped beat the Braves. Steve Henderson, who came in the Tom Seaver deal with Flynn, has held steady with a .270 average and remains a good bet for future improvement. Joel Youngblood adds 10 homers and base-running speed. So why the Mets still last in their division? Well, with the exception of Craig Swan's 7-4 record, a once proud pitching staff had been torn to tatters until young Kevin Coble shut out the Braves. And Met hurlers suddenly put their arms together for 47 innings in which they allowed only 5 runs. A streak like that will even make a lady owner feel just like one of the boys. Also in the East, the Chicago Cubs are hanging on thanks to a bat that no pitcher can stop. Gaylord Perry figures since the spitball was banned, why not ban the bat of Dave Kingman? But Chicago pitchers wouldn't like that. Now watch this. The man falls down, but still hits it out of the ballpark. Kingman went ahead of the record-breaking pace of Roger Maris with 24 homers, along with 56 RBIs and a surprising near 300 average. But ex-Phillies, like center fielder Jerry Martin, have also carried their weight. Martin was hitting 300, while the Cubs took off with a 5-game winning streak to get themselves into contention. Another ex-Phil, catcher Barry Foote, has proven he can catch the base runners flat-footed, if you will. As for shortstop Ivan DeJesus, he doesn't have to prove a thing. The little man is one of the best. Double play, and manager Herman Franks can count on one of the game's very best out of the bullpen, Bruce Sutter, who leads the National League in saves. Now it's up to these Cubs to finally prove they can hang in there all the way in what is now a 5-team race in the National League East. Now it's time for this week's Volkswagen quiz. Willie Mays Aikens of the California Angels recently hit Grand Slam home runs in back-to-back games against Toronto. A year ago, Phil Garner of Pittsburgh did the same in the National League. But can you name the last American leaguer? Stay tuned.
That Volkswagen Rabbit really handles. Is that why you're driving it?
Not really.
Well, is it because it can go from 0 to 50 in 8.3 seconds? But then why are you driving a Rabbit?
Because it has more headroom than my Rolls Royce.
Is that such a big deal?
It is. If you're Will Chamberlain.
Volkswagen does it again.
California may have a laid-back lifestyle, but manager Jim Fragos's Angels sure didn't lay down and die when Rod Carew got hurt. Willie Mays Aikens, Carew's first base replacement, is taking up the slack with a .300 average, 12 homers, and 44 RBIs in 43 games. Bobby Grich has also been a pounding. A .320 average, 16 homers, 48 RBIs, and a 20-game hitting streak. Also very hot of late, Brian Downey, who in 1 week batted .552 with 14 RBIs, raising his average to .359, second in the league. Add still another hot bat in Dan Ford, who raised his average near .290. And so what do you have in California? Well, the league's best hitting team, even without Carew, and a first-place lead in the American League West. You can't say anyone's laid back in Anaheim. Although half the team's been laid up, the Angels refuse to hang it up. Their one-loss record has even gotten better. So, injuries certainly haven't stopped the Angels. But the great managerial reputation of new Tiger skipper Sparky Anderson might have in one game in Detroit. The Angels trailed with 1 out in the top of the ninth, but started a rally. Don Baylor at bat. Ron LaFleur hangs on. Willie Davis tagged and went to third, but Sparky called for an appeal at second. The last out, the umpire ruled that Davis left the bag too soon. Now, whoever said managers don't win ball games? In the American League East, the Milwaukee Brewers can look back on some impressive pitching statistics attributed in part to manager George Bamberger's mound philosophy. Jim Slayton, 6 wins, 5 complete games, and a team-leading ERA under 2.40. Bill Travers, 4 wins, but 6 complete games. Mike Caldwell, 6 wins, 9 complete games. And Larry Sorensen, 9 wins, 10 complete games. Altogether, 32 complete games, easily the major's top figure. George Bamberger believes his pitcher should start and finish. Although the hitting has slumped slightly, Bambi's Bombers still lead the league in homers, and catcher Charlie Moore has really surprised with a .359 average. Sixto Lezcano is healthy again with a .323 average and 40 RBI. Designated hitter Dick Davis can't replace the bats of Larry Heisel and Don Money, but has proven he belongs. Good pitching, good hitting. Little chance for the Brew Crew to cool off in the long, hot summer. In Chicago, no one needs a weatherman to say that a long, hot summer is all right. Right for kids of all ages. White Sox fans and White Sox players, just let it all hang out. Temperatures rise quickly in Comiskey Park, and so do batting averages. George Orta's was way down, but a .412 week put it on the up and up. Chet Lemon is one of 4 White Sox batting .310 or better. As for Chicago's winning percentage, it's still around .500, but time left to get into the Western Division race.
You'd have to say that if we can hang right in there, it's going to be tough with Kansas City and Texas and California, but anything can happen in baseball.
Well, anything can and does happen in Comiskey Park. Forget the figures and stats. The best way to enjoy is let the action roll. White Sox fans particularly enjoyed a recent visit by the Red Sox, especially since the Pale Hose grabbed 2 out of 3. That meant the other Sox had to take a hosing down. And when you bring in a rookie reliever named Steve Rainbow Trout, son of Dizzy Trout, you know summer is here. Nothing but good fishing and good baseball. Now, back to this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 79 Rabbit, Dasher, and Scirocco. Volkswagen does it again. Prior to Willie Mays Aikens of the Angels, the last American leaguer to hit Grand Slam home runs in back-to-back games was Brooks Robinson of the 1962 Baltimore Orioles. Next week, Volkswagen will ask you again.
Sold out again.
The new improved Gillette Track 2, please.
Yeah, say, who needs improved when these twin blades will do?
Track 2 has micro-smooth edges. Makes the blade smoother than ever.
Shave better than these?
Better, safer, smoother, and comfortable.
Comfort, schmumfort, you don't have the, but...
Do you have the new improved Gillette Track 2?
Improved Track 2. Improved Track 2.
The new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro smooth edges make it a better shave.
Who'd ever think a car that looks like this could get good gas mileage like this? Based on EPA estimates, the Porsche 924 can go 278 miles in the city or 524 miles on the highway with just a single tank of gas. The Porsche 924. Whoever thought a Porsche could be this practical?
Now it's time to work out at the ballpark. Everyone getting in shape. The ticker's rolling, and here's the play-by-play. The pitch. Ball one. Okay, now to the 18th green. Is it a Louisville slugger or a Louisville putter? Now back to action on the field. Soccer field, that is. Looks like there's confusion down there. Hey, can anyone here play ball? It's really very simple. Someone hits the ball and someone catches it, or tries to. Uh-oh. Oh, well, how about a sacrifice bunt? Go for the sure out. But why is it called sure out? Some sacrifice. A run scores from first, and on a 4-base error, a home run bunt. Maybe the fans should try their hand. Well, no one really wants to take away from the players, especially fans. The best hand they can give is applause, which is just what the following plays deserve. First, Boston's Fred Lynn in center field. The Yankees' Chris Chambliss at first base. At second, the Cubs' Ted Sizemore. Atlanta's Pepe Frias at shortstop. Also at short, the Yankees' Bucky Dent. At second base, Minnesota's Rob Wilfong. In center field, San Diego's Gene Richards. In right field, the Dodgers' Reggie Smith. And coming out of left field, Jeff Burroughs of the Atlanta Braves. Players have to move to make a great play, and sometimes they have to move on to another town, especially at the June 15th trading deadline. After riding the bench in Houston, slugger Bob Watson was happy to travel on to Boston, where the Red Sox quickly put him at first base and batted him number 3 in the lineup. Watson replaced George Scott, who was unhappy in Boston but pleased to be going to Kansas City, where he got 2 hits and 2 RBIs and a royal win sooner than he could unpack his bag. In San Diego, Mike Hargrove didn't hit much, so on he went to Cleveland to play first base and to try to get his stroke back. Paul Dade had the stroke in Cleveland and will try to keep it in San Diego, where he'll give the Padres hitting, speed, and maybe a regular third baseman. In New York, Cliff Johnson had all sorts of woes. The infamous fight with Goose Gossage, and this unfortunate collision with Lou DeMuro. A change of scenery in Cleveland just might change his luck and add more power to the Tribe's lineup. Finally, former White Sox Eric Soderholm will no longer be shaking his power stick against Texas, but for Texas, giving the Rangers valuable bench protection. Traveling on and changing scenes, all a part of the game. But in New York, the big change looked familiar. A year ago, Billy Martin was on his way out as Yankee manager.
I don't want to hurt this team's chances for the pennant. With this undue publicity, the team has a shot at the pennant, and I hope they win it. I owe it to my health and my mental well-being to resign.
But 1 week later, Billy returned on Old Timers Day as the Yankees announced he'd be back as manager in 1980. What a script. The keys to the kingdom or clubhouse were handed over to Bob Lemon, who led the Yankees to an historic comeback and another World Series trophy. But that was months ago. Lemon could do little about the injuries that caused this year's Yankee problems. But Billy Martin's optimistic.
We're just going to go right on like we did before. We won before, we're going to do it again. And the question right now is get everybody healthy and do our thing. And our thing is winning.
And winning is Billy Martin's thing. He did it in Minnesota, Detroit, Texas, New York, and he'll try to do it in New York again. He lost his debut against Toronto. But even if his Yankees don't recuperate, Billy the Kid should make things mighty interesting. Finally, Willie Wilson of the Kansas City Royals, the recipient of this week's Gillette Special. In one game against Milwaukee, the major's fastest player collected 4 hits, including 2 homers and 6 RBIs. One of the homers was a game winner in the 9th inning and was Wilson's 3rd inside the park home run of the season. Congratulations, Willie. That's it for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Here's a reminder, it's English leather or nothing at all.
English leather cologne for men.